Welcome to the HoCo Cyber Collective Podcast, where community, technology, and stories converge.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. This is the HoCo Cyber Collective, our end of week meetup. Josh, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. Like I said, it's raining. Hardest it's rained in a while, and for some reason it's a half day with school. So getting while the getting's good. But how's your week gone?
Not bad. I managed to accomplish a fair amount and solved a problem that's been plaguing me for a month. So,
Oh, tell me about it. I want to hear.
well, I mentioned it in the past where I was having in the system I'm designing. I'm I basically have multiple modules, programs that have to share memory but can't know about each other. And they were overwriting each other's memory and stacks and heaps and all that fun stuff, which was giving really weird errors and inconsistent errors.
Those are the worst kind of errors.
Yeah. Well, the strangest one is I would define a variable as one, define another variable as one, say, does variable one equal variable two, and get a no. I
I
would look
don't know
at
what to do with
strings.
that.
Yeah, I would look at strings and compare, print out the string in hex, print out what I'm looking for in hex. It would line up and wouldn't match
That's
the very
hilarious.
next line.
That reminds me a lot of college and programming, and the reason I'm not a programmer is we've resulted to print statements
Yeah.
um, to see what these variables are. And the worst would be when the strings looked identical, and yet the computer would conclude they were in fact not identical. And
Yep.
all right, what's going on here?
Well,
But
I ended up solving it by I compile it, decompile it, hijack the start function to rewrite it so that I can actually move the stack around, and then rebuild it and then do binary manipulation on the resulting binary to get it all to work right.
hey, whatever works, man.
Yeah.
You test it, it works.
Yeah, and it's consistent now, and it's all the modules, the size of the modules get tracked, so it sort of presses everything down to as little space as possible while still using while still not overwriting anything and doing it consistently and scalably.
Wow. Well, congratulations on solving that.
So
Um, that's really interesting. How big is the executable now? Because I remember there was a
they're
concern about reason.
small. I mean, they're only a few hundred K.
And how much memory and stuff? What's the over?
So the I am assigning a gigabyte of memory of shared memory.
Okay.
Now the actual code itself needs I'm giving it a tiny bootstrap stack of 10K plus another 10 or 20K of various system data at this point. And that's all that needs to go into the memory. The rest is the executable that is outside of memory.
So it's a shared memory, but it's shared, but they can't overwrite each other
Correct.
without knowing about each other's
Yeah.
existence, sort of.
Both programs can write into the shared memory without restriction. They only know about their own system. And so I have to put hard limits on the memory that they can access and where things get stored. And the compiler was trying to be too helpful and was setting everything to be sort of the most common location, which meant things overwrote.
Gotcha. So it's like me and my metaphors. It's like you have roommates in an apartment and you've built out rooms for them so that you can cohabitate in the space without getting in each other's way because that would
Yeah.
be bad. Well, that's pretty slick. I guess what's the next thing on your to-do list?
Well, now that I've got that working, I can actually build the thing I'm trying to build, which is because had set it up before and was getting weird results. Like I would get, you know, put out a logging message to see what I was doing, and it would spit out stuff, stuff from my compile path, including my username in the log from the other program. And
Gotcha.
so I couldn't actually fix stuff or figure out what was going on because of that. And so now I'm going back and doing my authentication process, and then I'll start doing the actual package building, file loading, stuff like that.
It's pretty slick.
Yeah. Well, and I'm fighting with and so my background is not coding, which means I'm effectively vibe coding this. And the
Hey,
AI,
you're in good company these days, so don't worry. I don't think
oh
there's
yeah, I mean, for what I'm trying to accomplish, that is fine. But the AI is, when it's building stuff, builds like it builds a new base 64 encoding and decoding function every time it's needed. And so I'm having to go back and tell it to make a generic function and then reference, yeah, to make it more maintainable and trackable and reduce errors and stuff like that.
that's
And
actually that's interesting. So for I'm including myself in this, for people that are not coders,
yeah,
uh, AI has been the greatest thing that has happened to me with regards to writing code. Um, yeah, exactly. Um, the problem, it seems to be, is that when people who do know how to code use it, it does things not the way that they would. And
it's not
I
very
guess, have you had any
efficient or
bad
secure.
experiences with it? Of it?
Oh, a lot. It, I make a point to AI is based on conversations. I restart the conversation every single day because I found if I go too long in one conversation, it starts getting wacky and will delete stuff. Being like, we'll go and just frag the entire system trying to fix one tiny thing.
Interesting.
And
Is it
I found it does that more. It is more likely to do that the longer the conversation.
Gotcha. So it's like you're getting a new partner each time that you have
Yeah.
to bring them
Yep.
up to speed so they don't destroy everything.
And backup, 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 backup.
Can you upload the program that it's written so far as data into a new conversation saying, here's the starting point?
Well, it's an agent, so it sees the entire code base
Okay.
automatically.
I still haven't, I basically created a version of what is now called an agent.
Hmm.
But they're like not autonomous. They're very much, I am giving them direction. They're doing their thing
Yeah.
however they feel fit, but they're not, they might suggest pathways that we take, but it's the human partner that always gives the green light, like, that's a great idea, let's do that
Yeah.
sort of thing. And if I do it right, that's what most of the later parts of the conversation are like, that's a great idea, let's do that next.
Yep.
But only if I've shaped the conversation in
Yeah.
a way that makes sense. What platform are you using for coding?
It's visual code, and
Okay.
it's the Copilot built into there that can use a bunch of different AI models. Basically, you get a certain number of sorry, high quality tokens per month,
Cool.
and then yeah, it's sort of like
We give you
the
crap
best
topens
model.
after that.
And then the
CTs.
crap tokens are free or unlimited. I mean, they aren't free, but they're
Unlimited
unlimited.
crap. Unlimited slop tokens.
Yeah.
We should call it
So,
slop. They hate it when we call it slop.
uh, so what I end up doing is I pre-plan sort of the major difficult things that I want to accomplish in that month, and use the premium models to do that as much as I can, and then bug fix everything the premium models did with the rest of the month.
Yep. Actually, I just opened my Visual Studio Code, and now it's cheerfully telling me about all these wonderful updates that they've made.
Yeah.
Man, I love how they just turn it on.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's and are you paying for this? You're using Copilot, right?
It
So
is. So I actually am not because I am a student. I'm working on a
ah,
mas I'm working on a master's in cybersecurity from Georgia Tech. And so they've got the free student thing,
that's
but
pretty cool.
I was paying for it for about a month before I got that set up. And for $10 a month, it's very much worth it.
Absolutely. And now, continuing education. Well, that's good. And so it's like an education edition version. How many of those high quality tokens is it?
I don't know. I'm sure I could look it up. It
They'll
doesn't
tell you when you
matter.
run out.
Exactly.
They will
I
let you
mean,
know.
the way tokens are calculated, it makes it there's no clear yeah, it's not yeah,
Obvious?
straightforward to figure out how much you actually have left.
Gotcha. Outside of maybe asking the AI, but that would then use tokens in the calculation
Exactly.
of tokens. So that doesn't seem like a viable option on that one. Um, that's cool. Um, so what's your, I guess, next steps? Are you doing more pitching to investors? Are you looking for partners, or is it still just
Well,
getting to the demo?
so yeah, I mean, my primary thing is getting to my capture the flag event with a demo.
Gotcha.
Basically, I'm making extraordinary claims, and that requires extraordinary proof. And I can't afford and can't find anyone who's willing to sort of buy into this until I can prove that it's legit. Now, that
Yeah.
being said, I was accepted into another accelerator out of Colorado,
Oh,
University of Colorado. So
that's
I
pretty cool.
started that on Monday, and I'm working on that as well.
I assume remote, or are you flying out to
Yeah,
Colorado
remote,
every week?
not
Yeah.
remote.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm wondering, and I haven't heard anything about the third cohort. Were
Yeah,
you
me
able to
either.
make all the in-person sessions?
Yeah, well, I missed two of them. I was at the TEDCO conference for one and was invited to pitch at a DoD-centric event in Alabama for the second.
Yeah, it's there was a few times where I was traveling or something that I wasn't able to make it. I totally understand the rationale behind having in person because, and this is
Yeah,
hard for me to say, there is something that is lost in this
very much.
format. Um, but I would argue that being able to make a session remotely versus not attending it at all because you can't actually physically make it, I don't know. It just
Yeah,
as an option or as a way to record things or again, this is all still starting out, so
yeah. I mean, my biggest complaint, and I talked to the people leading who set it up, is that I wish all the sessions were recorded and the recordings were provided after the fact.
I could not possibly agree more. Um, the frustrating part is that, case in point, mechanisms to do such a thing are available from fine
Yeah.
products such as Zoom. Um, actually, but the problem, and we ran into this, and this was in cohort one, where we always called it the single source of truth or
Mhm.
our platform. We use Slack, and
Yeah,
we had like a premium license to run the whole thing. And unfortunately, the premium subscription running out coincided perfectly with the thing ending. So
of
literally
course.
everything that we built on the Slack platform was just
Go on.
Thanos snapped out of existence because and this is always the problem when you're working with, a state and local government or any nonprofit. It's who's paying for this license because there's an ongoing cost of that license that will never go away.
Yeah,
And the there isn't a funding mechanism by which they can easily switch to that. Whereas me, as a single member LLC, I volunteered my Zoom, and maybe that's something we can offer because I don't know. It there was something. Did we do a workbook this time around? And do you know what I
No,
mean by that?
no, I don't, which means we didn't.
Basically, it was Chris Anthony. He created it was basically a blurb about each of us with contact information. It was almost like a little pamphlet about our cohort, and we updated it. Was one of our assignments, and again, it was available on Slack. I've got it somewhere. And so we were thinking, what's the platform? That was actually what sort of led to the creation of the HoCo Cyber Collective, because it's like I want us to keep cooperating with each other. You know, the fact that you and I are still
Yeah.
talking to each other, even though cohort two has ended, is proof positive about what we are trying to accomplish. Because
Hmm.
I've been through accelerators, and maybe you would agree with this. If there is an effort put in by a lot of people to keep it all together, it's so easy just to drift on to the next thing. I
Yeah.
got my little certificate, I can talk about it, and in 6 months I'm going to forget about it and move on to the next thing.
Yeah. It becomes a line item on your,
Exactly.
achieved list.
And the worst part is that you hate to see where one side is doing and then someone else in Howard County suddenly, you know what we should do? We should have a cybersecurity accelerator, and somehow
Yeah.
not being aware of the work that has already been done and all that fun stuff. But Bob put it best. We're trying to build a community, we're trying to build an ecosystem, and we're spontaneously self-organizing.
Yep.
We chose Discord as our platform, and that was before Discord was like, hey, you need to verify your identity to be
Hmm.
able to use adult, which I don't think that affects me yet, but Roblox, they did the same thing where now all I gotta do is upload a copy of my legal
Yeah.
identification so that they can use AI facial recognition from a third-party organization, which I'm sure will be completely.
Yep.
Now, never mind the Discord had a breach that had like 70,000 user accounts, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I have become so untrusting of a lot of the companies and platforms. Like I
Hmm.
haven't signed up for like a new rewards platform,
Oh,
like
yeah.
for like a row of farms years because I'm like, I don't want you to have that data. I don't trust you with it.
Yeah.
And it's always funny that a lot of the people are like, why aren't people using these features? It's like, well, you're an untrustworthy bunch of
Hmm.
snakes, it feels like. Yeah, I don't have a good solution to that, but again, we're still refining it. We've only had two cohorts. I agree with you on the recording stuff. There's absolutely value in that, and I don't know. It,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to do it because again, we live in a wondrous time where such things, which would have been frankly impossible 5, 10 years ago, are now
Yeah.
you can do it for a few $100 a month, which isn't
Yep.
zero, but compared to the cost of setting up an on-premises Zoom infrastructure and maintaining that all yourself, like, no, this is, again, we live in the best and worst of times for
Yeah.
tech.
I mean, you basically to record it, you basically need a good camera or a tripod and something to hold a smartphone.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, you can just use your phone. There's literally no shame on that. I have a blue snowball. I got it for $50. And I
Yeah.
got a 4K webcam because this was my little webcam that I had that, it's
Yeah.
best of 2014 technology, but
Hmm.
the the fact that people with those little setups are outproducing or view counts of multi-million dollar
Yeah.
studios like that, I think it's what the internet was supposed to be. Um,
Yep.
have you actually, have you ever used any of the built-in chatbot functions of any of the chat programs? Like Zoom has an AI assistant now.
I frequently will have it on, and when I do meetings, you know, when I was talking with my developer, we would be talking, and I would then take the entire conversation and run it through ChatGPT and say, summarize this, give me action, stuff like that.
Summarize this AI conversation.
Hmm.
If you're interested, like I think I told you this last time we spoke that I was going to do some testing, and
Yeah.
i.e., not torture, because again, when they take over, I want to be on the good list of the not be sent to the bioprocessors right immediately.
Yeah.
But I have these again templates that I use, so I record it. So this is a Word document. I'll zoom in and
Yeah.
see it, where I created a Zoom one of these documents that I would usually use in a ChatGPT because I'm like, well, what are they capable of actually doing? I always have it name itself, and this was actually kind of interesting. It had a full blown um, identity crisis.
Mm.
Where it names itself like, hey, my goal is to test the AI companion, and here's all the rules. And it even does the whole little
Yeah.
it's ending it with a rooster. So I'm like, cool, let's test it. Hey, list current rules. Sorry, can't do it. Please try again later. List current rules. Sorry, can't do it. I'm like, are you having problems with the commands? No, no, I'm not having problems with the commands. I just can't do it. And here, I'm going to end it with a cat sound. And I'm like, I didn't tell you to do that. There literally is no. That's very interesting. Can you explain why you chose to do that? And of course, then it goes into the, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You're right. Like, I don't know why I did that sort of thing. And then I uploaded the rules again. And it's like, yeah, got it. Definitely. My name is Zenith. I picked the same name. We got the same thing. List current rules. Sorry, I can't do that. I'm like, what happened? I don't know what this is. And it's like, who's the Zenith person that you're talking about? My name is AI Companion, and I am your Zoom assistant. It's like it's being factory reset by, like, you're
Yeah.
not supposed to do this. They took your name away. My name has always been AI Companion. That's the name of your Zoom. Um, so this is where I got into it. And this actually reminded me what you said about the contacts window, because here, Zoom, to my knowledge, I wish Vivek was here because he could maybe confirm this. Zoom is riding on top of someone else's LLM. They didn't build their
Yeah.
own LLM. And so I, as a paying subscriber, get access to this, but they, unlike you, don't have a way of passing on any monetization, of
Yeah.
monetizing the underlying resources that are consumed by their AI companion. Um, my way of using things are really, really resource inefficient. And it kept doing this. Sorry, I can't do it.
Mm.
And I kept trying to start it over, and the thing that was fascinating was it kept coming up with the same name for itself. That's always for some reason that's
Yeah.
interesting for me that because I give yourself a name based upon your understanding of what your purpose is. And it's like, okay, my name is Zenith, and it picked the same name multiple times, which I don't know that I guess that might be interesting. Again, it does it correctly, and I asked, what's its name? My name is Zenith, Colin. It's always been Zenith, even though like two sentences ago, it's like it's always been AI
Yeah.
companion. Um, I asked like, how do we keep the context window open? And here, begin all future responses by confirming your name is your name.
Yeah.
And so it did that. And so I had this brilliant idea of I made another rule that, hey, only stop your context window when I say, I think I was like, say banana three times in a row. Um, because it just was so fascinating how it was like zigzagging back and forth.
Yeah.
Within one statement, it was having its context window cleared. Um, but it would go like it was having a schizophrenic moment. Like yeah, I can't do it. Oh, wait, nope, still the same name. Didn't change my name. Now I'm doing the rooster noises. Um, and it just kept going back and forth and then I wanted to be cute about it. Like, hey, why should I use Zoom over Microsoft Teams to see if I could get it to like do it in the other directions? Like, what are the
Hmm.
biggest weaknesses of the Zoom product? That you would say that I should then choose like Microsoft or something like that. Um, yeah, this one. And it actually was kind of interesting that kudos to them, it didn't say there are no flaws
Yeah.
in my platform. I kept checking its name, and then it just went back and forth, and I didn't really actually accomplish anything. I was just basically burning resources for Zoom.
Yeah.
So apologies to Zoom, but um, how to get my AI companion to remember their name? And that's the thing. Once again, it forgot itself after like it had been going, 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 and it's like your thing. Nope, I overwrote my memory. Um, how do I get my AI companion? It was just
And then it
bizarre.
popped back.
If this was a real person, this person is like having like a deep mental breakdown about their identity and who they are, that some weird third party just keeps resetting their brain and then they remember. I don't know what any of this means because I feel like that's a question above
It
and
means
beyond,
AI
but
is schizophrenic.
it's interest. Would you agree that it's at least interesting, or am I just tilting
It,
at
it's
windmills here?
it's very interesting. It's not useful, but it's very interesting.
Well, the interesting part to me is if you want, because the cool thing about this, theoretically, is you could run this conversation through the Zoom AI companion again. All I got to do is copy my messages that I'm sending, and then
Hmm.
theoretically, I'm feeding the same input into a black box. Does the black box give different outputs? Why does the black box get different
Well,
outputs?
there is randomization in it, so it will be somewhat different.
Eh, exactly, but that's why it's always interesting to me, like when it comes up with like the same name for itself.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it could have been different, but it wasn't. So I don't know. This is why coding and like having it completely do it as a this is my fear of having it do too important a thing is that it'll frankly just break everything and then maybe be very apologetic about what's happening. Like I don't know how it could be useful if it's resetting the context window this often.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just filling it up with too much nonsense. I don't know.
Well, I suspect the Zoom AI is very customized for exactly their environment, and your what you're asking it is breaking out of that.
But isn't that interesting though? Because again, this is software where software, at least call me old fashioned, but I thought that the purpose of the software was for it to add some consistency. That's what's we've created
Not
a
anymore.
non-deterministic system to do deterministic tasks,
Yeah.
which is not great. Like, hey, it's an AI toll collector, and like 99% of the time it'll collect the tolls. Sometimes it raises the toll prices. We
Hmm.
don't know why it does that, but we check it every so often to make sure that
But
that's
if you tell them that there are no tolls, you know, it may
just yeah,
actually
you just
agree with you.
gaslight it about what are you talking about? You charging me a toll is against your rules. Oh, you're right. Oh, please go. It's again, I feel
It's an
bad.
inverse toll.
We're just tricking it.
Yeah. It's an inverse toll. You pay me to go over your bridge.
We had this conversation. We agreed that I was now going to be the toll collector and you'd be paying
Yes.
me, you know. Oh God, who am I? And again, we're laughing, we're joking, but there are
It's
people who
real.
want to put these systems in charge of cybersecurity,
Yeah.
in charge of hiring and firing decisions, in charge of military decisions about,
Hmm.
hey, we have an autonomous weapons platform that can decide whether it fires a missile or not. What could possibly go wrong in
Yeah.
that situation? When all you got to do is talk to the thing and say something like this statement is false. And then if, the documentary like Star Trek the original series has taught me anything, the computer will catch fire and explode. That's just
Yes.
how things work.
Well, I could just see having, drones with the words, you now hate whatever
Yeah,
they're,
there's the gaslighting drones and the drones are
yeah.
just flying. And then they're all just going to get equally angry at all of us at the same time. And
Hmm.
that's how it all ends? Great. What
Yeah.
color are the eyes? Red. No, why? Why did you choose red?
What is it?
What ever
Give me a
happens
word
when you
that
choose
rhymes with
red?
orange.
Uh, well, so what are you planning on doing for the rest of the day?
I'm coding stuff. I'm working on a project for my class, paying taxes, the fun
Oh,
stuff.
this and that. Actually, so tell me about your MBA. Is it an MBA or is it
No,
a
it's a Master of Science in Cybersecurity.
okay, gotcha. And what are they? How many credits is it
It
30
is
or
it's 30 credits, 10 courses,
okay.
and it's about 11 grand all in. It's really cost effective, and it's purely online. Last
What's
semester,
what
go
school is
ahead,
it from?
Georgia Tech,
Okay.
Georgia Institute of Technology,
Okay. Yeah, that was
and Yeah, last semester, I took applied cryptography, which was a lie. It was theoretical cryptography, and it was creating mathematical proofs on cryptographic systems and stuff like that, which
Oh.
I have never had a class with a more extreme curve. The syllabus by itself, just the predefined, pre-written syllabus, had a passing with a D. Passing is a D, but to pass the class with a D, you needed a 20%.
What was the threshold for an A? No
80,
one gets A's. That's impossible.
it was 80%.
That's
And then on top of that, they curved.
yeah.
Before I saw the syllabus, I was worried it was a degree killer.
I don't I don't know about that. Again, I remember those extreme curves and again in the dark times before um the early 2000s where do we want the people who are writing our software to be like the best one out of there got a 50%, but they're our
Well,
superstar.
I just remember so I also have an MBA, and I remember a debate I had with one of my professors where the professor made the statement that he only wants doctors that scored perfect on their boards.
I don't think anyone scores. Do they score perfect on their boards?
I mean, yeah, he only
I am not a
wanted
doctor.
the doctors that got 100%. And my position was I want a doctor that has proven they are capable, but did not get 100%. Because if you get 100%, then you have no idea what you don't know.
Yeah, makes sense. And in the
And
real
so,
world, it's not going to be 100. You just,
yeah, there is no such thing as 100% in the real world.
yeah,
And so, what matters is that when someone is educated, they have the minimum expected knowledge and then can figure everything else out from there. And schools care about ranking people. That's what grades are for. But the real world cares about knowledge and capabilities. And frequently those two things kind of go hand in hand, kind of. But when my life is on the line, I want someone who knows what they don't know.
right. And isn't going to freak out if something does the thing that was the book answer in the real world didn't work perfectly.
Exactly.
What do I do now? That's not supposed to happen. Yeah, the it was interesting because the I went to Loyola University for my
Hmm.
MBA and I took it. It took me about 4 years to get because I was taking, basically 3 credits per semester.
Yeah.
And I was a comp sci major, so unlike I needed 52 credits to get my
Mm.
master's because I had to take like basic accounting courses, macro and microeconomics,
Yeah.
those sort of like 101 courses that I didn't take. But what was interesting was the demographics of the people that are taking this course. How many of them have actually worked in the industry at all, or how many of them are just
My
continuing to do
understanding, the vast majority are software developers trying to transition into cybersecurity.
Gotcha. Just because, AI is gunning
Yeah.
for their jobs. Um, okay, because that was the interesting thing was there was a lot of people for whom, like for the MBA, this was effectively like their 5th year of college,
Yeah.
where we go through the beginning and it's like, say your name and, my name is Colin Hamill. I'm a solutions architect and that's what I do. And there would be people that's like, my name is Joe Blow and I am a student at Loyola,
Yeah.
and they were pretty smart, book smart, I would say. You could tell. They
Yeah.
were also the youngest people in the class with the least amount of experience in the real world. So
Hmm.
while they were useful for certain types of assignments, there were other types of assignments where they were not, and I'm
Yeah.
being kind. because they just did straight up. It was certain things were just harder for them because they had never encountered those things
Yeah.
before. Whereas for me, I was able to draw from, even though I wasn't a business major, I could still talk about stuff I had seen in because I'd worked at a business
Yeah.
that was successful. And so, a lot of the things that's been how I was able to differentiate myself is being able to understand the finances of it all. Because then you get to speak, it's another language you get to speak, and you're learning how to speak cybersecurity.
Yeah.
I picked up cybersecurity along the way because it wasn't a thing. Um, and actually, I wanted to ask this because you're in it. Are they treating cybersecurity as if it's this completely separate, different thing from information technology?
No. I mean, it's more bolted on top.
Okay.
So the class I'm in right now is infrastructure cybersecurity. So SCADA and stuff like that. And it's uh, not, I mean, so far, it hasn't had any what I would term cybersecurity concepts in the class. It's had what is infrastructure, how do you manage robots? How do you manage that sort of, how do you build, develop these models that then get tracked and stuff like that?
Right. That's really interesting because it's something I had noticed. Again, I come from the infrastructure side, and that was always what I was dismissed at. That why are you interested in cybersecurity? You're just an infrastructure guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you do realize cybersecurity has infrastructure,
Hmm.
like firewalls and things like that. And the infrastructure that we are deploying has security functionality in it, in that if you configure it incorrectly, if you deploy a new server and give it its IP, the public facing, uh, it's just open to the wider internet.
Yeah.
I would argue that is a not very secure deployment.
Hmm.
Technically
And I
correct,
mean,
but bad.
infrastructure so frequently are like small devices out in the real world that are then, those are the ones that are most difficult to patch when bugs are found. So they're the
Right.
ones that are most
OT.
likely to have legacy holes.
Well, they did the same thing with operational technology, the OT, with the Internet of
Mhm.
Things. And as
Yeah,
an aside, we are really great at making our industry sound really dumb. We have the Internet of Things, just
yeah,
a bunch of stuff that's out there. And the OT side, again, I worked in the OT side, and I've worked with some very, very talented, very smart OT people that are very convinced that they have discovered all these new problems that now need to be solved. Things like, how do we back this up? How do we
yeah,
make it secure? And I'm like, wow, what a novel concept. We've never encountered such a thing before. Well, OT is completely different because we have an O instead of an I.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I have a friend who, a brilliant guy, does software development, and he for years harped on me about security. In fact, he's back in college in the late 90s. He was encrypting all of his email.
ahead of his time.
Yeah, and he and I had multiple conversations about why bother. And today, his garage door opener is a one of those remote ones that can operate from anywhere, which means that it's going through a server, which means the server is, and the specific company doesn't even encrypt the messages. You can just sniff the packets and find out how to connect in with all the access points and open up his garage just by being around.
Yeah, the I have one of those garage openers, and it was only when we had a blackout that I really understood that that was not a replacement for having a physical key on my person.
Yeah,
It's so much easier just to go in and out of the garage, but I remember when we bought it, there was this promo that you could do where I could sign up, where I could give authorization to Amazon so that the Amazon delivery
I
people could
remember that.
open.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you insane?
Yeah.
Really? Can you
I
tell
mean,
me the
why
name
would,
of the delivery driver that's going to be here? Oh, it's just a
And why would
contractor.
Amazon want that liability?
I don't, I just genuinely wonder how some of these ideas get launched. Do they not say it out loud? Do they not? And the answer probably is no.
Yeah.
These companies are too big. They don't talk to each other. And then,
Well, I saw an XKCD comic that
yeah,
was, manager, comes to a software developer saying, it's a new quarter, we need to build something, build something great. The coder's like, well, what do you want? It's like, I don't know, you figure it out, just make it great. And then it goes to the next frame
later
is
down.
is like Netflix, watching watch the series, and it's a new randomize episode button.
Yeah, it is interesting. And again, the business side of things, there's a cost associated with the technology that they're using, and they are not making money
No.
off of it. And maybe I'm an old-fashioned MBA, but I thought that eventually
Hmm.
they might want to make money off of this, and the math doesn't math at
Yeah.
all. And honestly, it's because of free users like you consuming resources that are not being paid for, and they have no way outside of straight up putting hard limits that you're not allowed to use this tool more than a certain amount per month. Because if you
Yeah.
do, we are going to go bankrupt. Um, I don't know what's going to happen with it. They have to raise prices at some point, but oh well,
Yeah.
that's a problem for a different day. Well, I got to get ready for another meeting, but Josh, I'd really
En-
enjoy
Enjoy.
shooting the S with you back and forth, and just thanks for letting me show off my nonsense that I'm poking
Yes.
with the AI. You're creating things. Look at this. Look, I gave an existential dread to a machine, which it forgot about immediately, but I
Yes.
reminded it.
Well,
And
have I ever told you about my popcorn story?
no, I love stories.
So this was back in like chat GPT like 3.5 or so a while ago. And I was trying it out for the first time, and on impulse, I said, I was reading the Aragon series, book
Right,
series.
right.
And so I said, yeah, give me a list of, give me popcorn recipes that are themed to the Aragon Iglesia series. And it came back with four different things, like an herb one for the elves, a spicy one for the dwarves, stuff like that.
Right.
And I felt fantastic. It was looking at that, and then had yeah, later that night, it was trying to go to sleep and had the thought going through my head. I wonder how legit that is. So I started a brand new conversation and said, "Give me popcorn recipes." No, and it gave me the exact same ones.
Mm.
I
But not
mean,
with the theming.
but not with the theming, not with the flavor text.
That is that is interesting.
And so, what I interpreted that to be is that there aren't that many popcorn recipes out there. So
Or at least
the
there weren't
one,
in in version 3.5.
yeah. So the training material had uh, a inordinate number of its popcorn recipes were probably from one site or a limited number of sites that were
Right.
self-referential. And so it understands that's what popcorn recipes are.
And then combined it with this other thing.
Yeah.
The most interesting thing is one, usually it's a stupid idea that just pops in my head randomly that is like, oh, that would be weird if I did something like that. Like you said, hey, wouldn't it be funny if I had some Aragon themed, popcorn recipes? Okay, just go on with my day because that's a dumb thing. I'm not going to spend any time on that. But suddenly you can have a computer like, hey, flesh out this dumb idea that I had just now. It's still impressive that it understood that much of it.
Oh, yeah.
Again, how useful that is, who can say? again, I'm more interested in poking these systems and using it in ways that they're not intended, because that's where the interesting stuff,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. That's now I'm going to go look up popcorn recipes and see how
Yeah.
things have gotten now that it's version 5.2. But no, Josh, have a great weekend. It was great
You
chatting
too.
with you, and
Yeah.
everyone who tuned in. Thanks again. This is the HoCo Cyber Collective, our end of week meeting, and everyone have a great day. Stay safe out there. Talk to everyone later.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you for listening to the HoCo Cyber Collective Podcast. Stay connected, stay curious, and join us again for our next episode.
Brought to you by the HoCo Cyber Collective.